Did you know that Tesla owners are trading their EVs for internal combustion engines? In spite of the buzz about the EV revolution, are EVs losing their initial charm? Let's see. More than half of Teslas traded in at dealerships so far in 2024 were traded in for a gas vehicle. As per Edmunds data from January to July of 2024, 51% of used Teslas were traded for gas, and 32% were traded for an EV. In the case of hybrids, that first number grows to 57%. Does that mean EVs are losing against ICE vehicles? It may seem so, but the answer is a big no. If you compare the data over these years, you can see that EVs are actually performing better. This is a big change from the situation 5 years ago, and suggests a few key trends. Compared to 5 years ago, this represents a major shift that points to a few key factors. A shocking 71% of Teslas were exchanged for gas vehicles in 2019, with only 18% going toward hybrid vehicles. 10% were exchanged for another EV. In 2019, the main reason for trading in a Tesla was to go from an EV to a gas-powered vehicle. So the number is actually reducing. It was 71% in 2019, and now the Tesla trade-in data shows it has reduced to 51%. From the table, you can see that trade-ins for hybrids have declined, while trade-ins for plug-in hybrids have picked up the slack in almost exact proportion. PHEVs make up only a pretty small percentage of total cars sold. Less than 2% of new cars sold in May of this year were plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, or PHEVs. According to conventional opinion, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles offer customers switching from gas to electric vehicles a reason to install a charger and drive some of their vehicles entirely on electricity, allowing them to take a tentative step into the world of EVs. Yet, the data shows that the pipeline is actually moving in the opposite direction. You're prepared to benefit from a PHEV if you purchased an EV and have likely installed a charger. Remarkably, Tesla trade-ins are going to plug-in hybrid electric vehicles at a rate 3 times faster than the whole market. When the refreshed Tesla Model 3 Highland was reviewed, it was noted that it made only minor changes to the formula, and for every improvement, there was also a liability. Many people are also not impressed with the Tesla Cybertruck, as one tester reported that it flashed its first critical steering issue detected warning sign with just over 1,000 miles on the odometer. The important news, though, is that an increasing number of consumers are choosing to switch from Teslas to EVs made by established automakers. That makes perfect sense. Traditional automakers just didn't have any cars that could compete with Teslas 5 years ago. Actually, the Tesla Model 3 was the top-ranked electric vehicle by Edmunds in 2020, 2021, and 2022. It lost the title in 2023. Furthermore, Tesla has been stagnating while traditional manufacturers have been catching up to and even surpassing it in terms of offerings. Although those who want to trade in their EVs for an ICE car have reduced overall these years, it doesn't mean that the overall trend in the auto market is favorable for EVs. If you ask why, it's because nearly 30% of electric vehicle owners globally are likely to switch back to internal combustion engine cars, according to a recent McKinsey Global Consumer Survey, with US EV owners even more likely to switch back to ICEs. A study from Edmunds found that in Q2 2024, just under 40% of EVs utilized as a trade-in were used to purchase or lease a new ICE vehicle. GM and Ford are seeing increased EV sales but have pulled back on growth forecasts, and in the near term, issues like charging, range, and battery degradation could turn many early buyers off from another purchase. In particular, many EV owners in the US are second-guessing themselves. A McKinsey survey found that 46% of American EV owners said they were likely to return to ICEs. This percentage is far greater than the global average of 29% of EV owners, who said they were likely or very likely to return to gas-powered vehicles, which included drivers from Australia, Brazil, China, Germany, Norway, France, Italy, and South Korea. Even though recent delivery and earnings reports from both GM and Ford showed major increases in EV sales, EV adoption has lagged in the United States. However, such sales increases come from a very low base, and both of the big automakers have stated that they will be reducing their long-term growth and production targets for electric vehicles. For instance, for General Motors, EV deliveries rose 40% in the second quarter over the same period last year, but they still only make up 3.2% of all US sales. Ford reported a 60% increase in EV sales to around 24,000 vehicles, but during its results call, CEO Jim Farley presented a more realistic and sharpened EV plan. Although its EV sales have been declining and its prices have been sharply reduced, Tesla is still the market leader. Along with the McKinsey statistics on existing EV owners, a recent Gallup poll revealed that a smaller percentage of American non-EV owners indicated that they might think about buying an EV, falling from 43% in 2023 to 35% in 2024. Year over year, the proportion of adult Americans who do not plan to purchase an EV increased from 41% to 48%. However, a report by automarket analyst Edmunds supports the McKinsey data, revealing that in Q2, 39.4% of EVs traded in were used to buy or lease a new internal combustion engine vehicle. GM CEO Mary Barra recently said that the EV experience is one that more drivers will be sold on once they get in that electric vehicle and drive it. In response to the pressure on EV sales, automakers have slashed prices and increased incentives to shift EVs, often with better lease terms and lower interest rates than ICE cars. However, this has also caused a steep decline in the value of used EVs, which were selling for more before 2024. The quality issue with EVs coincides with a decline in U.S. demand for EVs altogether. Adoption of EVs has been delayed by issues like range anxiety, a lack of infrastructure for charging, and high, although declining, pricing. The White House's priority, electrifying the nation's fleet of vehicles, will not be aided by adding high repair expenses and quality issues to the ownership price. EV makers are unable to maintain quality. It was expected that EVs would be more reliable because they have fewer moving parts, but the result is the opposite. From software glitches to high maintenance costs, EVs pose a headache to their owners. As the technology behind electric vehicles is still developing, there aren't an adequate number of qualified repair persons and workshops that can repair your EV. When there is a lack of professionals, fixing an EV may cost you an arm and a leg. Also, the average repair cost of an EV in the US is $6,587, compared with $4,215 for other vehicles. This makes EVs unaffordable to the average US family, and repairing them takes months. Consumer Reports states that problems with the battery and charging systems, as well as mismatches between the body panels and interior parts, were the most frequent complaints from electric vehicle owners. Consumer Reports noted that many buyers would likely pause before adopting the new technology, since ongoing concerns about reliability will likely be taken into consideration, as the high costs, a shortage of charging stations, and extended charging periods. Long lineups, malfunctioning chargers, and other common issues in EV charging stations are troubling the EV owners community. People are driving electric cars during the busiest time of year for road trips, but many claim it can be difficult to locate reliable chargers. Drivers complain that they frequently have to bargain for a spot in line, try to charge their cars while they're out and about, and run into broken chargers. To address these issues, the government has to pump in more infrastructure. Also, if you're planning to switch from your EV to gas cars, do you know how many people in the world are dying every year due to pollution from motor vehicles? The number is alarming. About 6.7 million premature deaths are reported every year globally because of indoor and outdoor air pollution from human activities and natural sources. What's your take on this subject? Tell us in the comments. Also, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining, then don't forget to hit like and also subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss any future content from us.